In this very lesson, we shall be looking at division of standard form. Remember, we are still on the real number system and we are looking at standard form. In division of standard form, what we are going to do is that we are going to apply our basic knowledge in indices. Remember, in indices, we have learned that when two numbers are divided and then they have the same base, what we do is that we pick one of the base, we subtract their exponents. So when you have, let's say, 10 raised to the power 5 divided by 10 raised to the power 2. Since these two numbers are dividing, they have the same base, what we are going to do is that we are going to pick one of the base, which is 10, and then we subtract their exponent. So at the end, we are going to get 10 raised to the power 3. More also, if you have, let's say, 10 raised to the power negative 5 divided by 10 raised to the power negative 2. Since these two numbers are dividing, they have the same base, which is 10 and 10. We are going to pick one of the base and then we subtract their exponent. So we have minus 5 minus what? Minus 2. So we are going to get 10 raised to the power minus 5 plus what? 2. And at the end we have 10 raised to the power negative 3. So we are going to base on this very concept of indices in dividing standard form numbers. So here are very few examples that we are going to go through them to see how best we can solve them. So we have our first example. We are to divide 2.16 times 10 raised to the power 6 by 2.7 times 10 raised to the power 2. So what we are going to do is that we are going to group the decimal fractions, we divide them together, we group those with the power of 10, we divide them together. But you agree with me that dividing a decimal number by a decimal number sometimes becomes tough. So what we are going to do is that we are going to convert each of the decimal fractions into whole number, so that we will get a whole number divided by a whole number. That one becomes much easier. So let's do that, or let's use that particular approach. So we are going to convert 216 to a whole number. You know that the decimal point is here. We are going to move it to the right. So we are going to get 216 times 10 raised to the power, we move to the right. So we have 10 raised to the power negative 2. Then we have times 10 raised to the power 6. Then we have our division. We are also going to convert 2.17 to a whole number. So we are going to get 27 times 10 raised to the power negative 1 times 10 raised to the power what? 2. So what we are going to do is that we are going to simplify those within the bracket first. So we are going to get 216. Now we have two numbers multiplying, they have the same base, which is 10 and 10. So what do we do in indices? We pick one of the base and then we add their exponents. So we have minus 2 plus what? 6. Good. Then we have divided by, we have 27. Similarly, two numbers are multiplying, they have the same base, 10 and 10. We pick one of the base and then we add their exponents. We have minus 1 plus what? 2. So we are going to get 216 times 10 raised to the power what? 4. Good. Then we are divided by 27 times 10 raised to the power 1, which is the same as 10. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to pick the whole numbers, we divide them, we pick those with the power of 10, we divide them. So we are going to get 216 divided by what? 27, and then we have times what? 10 raised to the power 4 divided by 10 raised to the power 1. Now this one becomes much easier. So we have 216 divided by 27, and that gives us what? 8. Then we have times. We have two numbers dividing, they have the same base. What do? We pick one of the base and then we subtract their exponents. So we have 4 minus what? 1. So at the end, we are going to get 8 times what? 10 raised to the power 3. And that is that. Very, very easy and then simple. Let's take the next example. So we have our second example. We have 6 times 10 raised to the power negative 3 divided by 4 times 10 raised to the power 1, or 4 times 10. So we realize that we have a whole numbers here, so we don't have to go through the stress of rewriting it in a whole number again. So what we are going to do is that we are going to group the whole numbers, we divide them, we group those with the power of 10, we divide them. So we are going to get 6 divided by what? 4. Then we have times 10 raised to the power negative 3 divided by what? 10. So we have 6 divided by 4 give us, I think, 1.5, right? We have 1.5. We have our multiplication sign. We have two numbers dividing, they have the same base, 10 and 10. What do? We pick one of the base and then we do what? We subtract their exponents. So at the end, we are going to get 1.5 times 10 raised to the power negative 4. And that is that. Let's look at the last example and then we run out of here. So we have our last example. We are to divide 9.6 times 10 raised to the power 7 by 3 times 10 raised to the power 4. So with this particular example, you realize that we have a decimal fraction. So what we are going to do is that we are going to convert it to a whole number so that it will be very easier for us to divide. Remember, we are to do that without using what? Calculator. Good. So we are going to convert this to a whole number. So our point is here, we are going to move it to the right. So we are going to get 96 times 10 raised to the power negative what? 1, because we move to the right. And then we have times 10 raised to the power 7. Then we have divided by 3 times 10 raised to the power 4. Good. So let's simplify these brackets. So we have 96 times indices. When two numbers are multiplying, they have the same base. What do? We pick one of the base, we add their exponent. So minus 1 plus 7 will give us what? 6. Good. Then we have divided by 3 times 10 raised to the power 4. So the last one that we are going to do is that we are going to pick the whole numbers, we divide them. So we are going to get 96 divided by what? 3. Then we have times what? 10 raised to the power 6 divided by 10 raised to the power 4. Good. So we have 96 divided by 3 will give us 32, right? Then we have times indices, two numbers, they are dividing. What do? They are the same, right? So you pick one of the base, you subtract their exponent. So we have 6 minus 4 give us 2. But I realize that 32 times 10 raised to the power 2 is not in the correct standard form. So what we are going to do is that we are going to write it in a correct standard form. So we know that our decimal point is here. So we are going to move it so that it will be in between the first two natural numbers or behind the first natural number. So we are going to get 3.2 times 10 raised to the power positive 1 times this 10 raised to the power 2. So finally we are going to get 3.2 times 10 raised to the power 3. And that is that. That brings us to the end of today's lesson. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.